Hi, and welcome to IIABCal Voices. I'm your host, James Lott Jr. And for the month of February here on JLJ Media, we are doing Valentine's themed episodes of some of our favorite shows. And this show is no different. We're going to be highlighting couples that are in the insurance industry here in the Big I of California and talk to them about what it's like to work together, live together, and love together. So our first couple comes from Phillipp Insurance and Associates, Les and Melissa Phillips. So we're going to talk to them first. Stay tuned. I'm here with Les Himes and Melissa Phillipp-Himes. How are you guys?
Good morning.
Doing well, thanks. Good morning.
Morning. So so we're gonna get to all some of the other things about your relationship and stuff, working together and living together. But it's also been a pandemic. So I'm sure everything's been heightened in the last year because of things that have happened. So how do you guys navigate this last year in general?
How do we navigate this last year? Very carefully.
Not very well.
Very, very carefully.
Yes.
I would say though, we have a Siberian Husky. She just turned 3 and she's kind of the center focus of our home life because first she's super demanding and she's a lot of fun. So without the ability to go and see family and meet friends, we kind of walk the dog a lot.
I think you were telling me that when we were just on one of our meetings, you're saying how you get to know your neighbors, right? You get to know your neighbors and really get. And so how much fun has that been?
Depends on which neighbor you bump into.
She's kind of the celebrity of our condo complex.
Oh,
so
okay.
We have people come by to visit her and whatnot. We did slip off one time in one of the gaps where it was okay to travel a little bit up to my sister who had a 80th birthday. And my niece and her husband are partners in a very large dairy up in Washington State. So that was a few days away over a weekend to celebrate my sister's 80th birthday. And also it was a voyage into a completely different world, which is kind of fascinating all of its own. So that was one break that we were able to slip in, and I think helped quite a bit. That was back in October. It was such a change that it was kind of a refresher, which was needed by that point.
Yeah, I know. It's so tough to have to be in the same spot, the same area every day. I mean, we love our stuff. I mean, we do. We love our business. We love our home. I'm tired of looking at it. I want to see something new and fresh. I know how hard it is. Okay, so let's talk about how you guys met. I think that's very important. So whoever wants to start first, how'd you guys meet?
Well, that's one of the jokes I've used over time at network meetings. We are the only insurance agency in the entire universe that has 2 former Chatsworth Chamber of Commerce presidents as principals.
Hey.
And that's kind of a joke. And then that's where we met. We met on the Chamber of Commerce board.
Oh, really? Oh, I don't think I knew this part. Oh, okay, wow.
Yeah, and we were both ex-presidents. So
That is right. Okay, so tell folks out there, what does a Chamber of Commerce do?
I think it promotes business in a localized community. It supports government legislation, action. It certainly fosters a sense of community and networking. Right?
yeah, and I've been pretty involved for a number of years in its interface with. We haven't done very well for small business, but interfacing with state and local government to try to lobby a little bit, or at least get the small and medium business story out there to those folks that are writing legislation and regs. It can be active in that arena as well.
Now, when you guys met, had you both already been presidents already, or you meet under somebody's presidency? What was the timing on that?
I had not yet been president.
Oh.
And since I didn't have my medication just adjusted at that time, I was both a president before and a president after, because they came back to me and there was somebody that had agreed and then got moved out on their job, so they needed somebody. So I came back in, and I was president in 2 different time frames.
I've never heard of it before. So you were president once,
right?
And she became president. You became president again.
A couple of years later, there was actually, I think, about 5 years or so in between.
Wow.
between the times. And I'm a sick puppy. I was actually 4-term president over the course of the two times. Yeah.
Wow, that's great. I know that. That's very interesting. Okay, so you both have served under each other's presidencies, so to speak.
Mhm.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. All right, okay. I want to ask you, what makes a good president? You think of a Chamber of Commerce? Just for each of you guys. What do you think?
Yeah, so because we've served as board members for years, every year you get a new president. So I think we're pretty well equipped to answer that question. For a Chamber of Commerce, I think you have to be open to people, fostering relationships. It can't be about possession or self-interest. And just being a nice, fun person that people want to be around. And then, like I said, it's all about fostering relationships at a local level. So it's about being generous. As far as like the head of the board table, we're fortunate to have an executive director. So that person really out of the office organizes a lot of the day-to-day events and board meetings, and the presidents, although they have a lot of say, do rely on the expertise of their executive director. So I would say the most important thing is choose wisely who your executive director is.
I can attest to that. I was a chairperson for an organization years ago, and the executive director was the bomb. He was great. So we worked so closely together, like literally we did so much.
Yes.
I was like, so what's happening now? What do we do? I was looking to them for stuff sometimes. It was great. It was great. Les, what do you think makes a great president?
I think listening. I don't have any problem being a leader, but someone paid me a compliment once that I think dredge up every once in a while. Somebody that's pretty well known here in the San Fernando Valley actually said to my adult daughter, said, Les is very unique in that he listens to everybody and then tries to craft the best solution for everyone. We all come with our biases in business and whatnot. And I think it's important to listen to everybody. You clearly can't please everybody all the time, but to try to set your own point of view, as valid as it might be, aside, and listen to everybody, and then try to do the best for everybody. And you aren't going to make everybody happy, but at least be willing to listen.
I like that. I think I agree with that. And you have to be a good listener, folks. There's different types of listening. There's active listening and passive listening. It makes you actively listen. That's very, very important. Okay, so who asked whom out first? How'd that happen?
He did. Oh my goodness.
I thought she did. She sent me a dozen roses and asked me to put it in her.
No, he did.
Maybe that's not how it happened.
I love it. I love it.
We were
a relationship. I love it. Yeah.
We were friends for a good number of years before anything kind of special sparked off. Mm-hmm. So it was a unique set of circumstances. So it was years later.
Wow. But how do you go from friends to like, I think you're kind of tasty. Like how does
just
that
like that,
just
James?
Just like that. You're like, I get this from Melissa. Yeah. She does all of a sudden just like that. But that's great. I mean, they always say you should be friends first. They always say that, right? That makes for a better relationship. So you guys were friends first, knew of each other, obviously. But then I'm assuming he asked you out from all the cutesy stuff you're doing here. And what made you say yes, Melissa?
Well, look at him. He's so sweet and handsome, right?
Yes, he is.
But I had insight as to the character, the personality. A lot of folks know Les as being very stoic and very serious. But he's really funny, and right. He's really funny and sweet, and so those were some of the reasons.
Good. And so where was your first date? You remember?
Actually, I don't think I remember. We're going back a while.
How many years, kids?
Mexican restaurant.
It was.
Thank you.
Yes.
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 Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
She's supposed to remember that, and Dum Dum's supposed to forget.
Right,
But I
exactly.
remember
Right.
that
She's
one.
like, I
Yes.
don't know. She's like, I don't know.
Yeah, someplace. It was in California for sure. I remember that one.
Yeah, I think we're at 14 years now.
Wow, congratulations.
Yeah, thanks.
Good, that's good. Was there any trepidation at all because you're in the same industry to get together, or is it better because you're in the same industry? Do you think, as you look back on it now, you think?
No, I don't think so. At that point, we weren't working together.
Right.
But I don't think that entered into my thinking. I know that didn't enter into my thinking. I'm turning that over to Melissa this thing.
Yeah. Okay.
No, it didn't. It didn't matter. Starting an agency was a natural progression, right? Because we were both in the business, and so that happened very naturally. But I wasn't ever like, oh, you're in insurance, I don't want to, date you.
Well, in some professions, I've never dated another actor, and they're like, no, I don't know actors. That happens sometimes. We're like, oh, we know too much. Like, no. And in some cases, I think it's easier because you understand each other and the
Yes.
business. So it can be a camaraderie of some sorts and a shorthand per se, because
For
you know
sure.
how it is. But you said it was pretty natural progression for you to start an agency. Were there major discussions about that at first? You know?
I wouldn't say major
Yeah,
discussions.
it was discussed. I don't know if it qualified as a major discussion, but it was discussed.
Yeah, I mean, I think that you have to, as a couple at that point, right? Because it was 2008, James, that we started the agency, April. You have to kind of trust that you'll be able to work together without really knowing you're going to be able to work together. And we did. So we kind of took a flyer there, right? Leap of faith, if you will. And gosh, here we are, all those years later, seemingly very happy.
Seemingly, I'm all. Let me turn off the camera.
And it affected me a bit.
Yeah, he's like, I'm like, blink twice less if you need to get help. No. Exactly right. He's like, he can't even blink, so that's crazy. But no, so then what, I want to ask this a question for each of you guys then. So you're in business together, you've been in the business together for a while. In the business side of things, what does Les bring that just is so wonderful that maybe you don't bring, and vice versa? What does each other bring to the business?
I'll start. I think that Les has the the ability of critical thinking. I'm a little bit more spontaneous, and so I might go like, oh my god, this is amazing, let's do this, and he's going to go, wait a sec, let's think this through. And he has the ability of getting to the heart of the matter really quickly. And I would also say that he's just super smart. And so if I have a client issue or there's a relationship challenge going on, I can always, rely on Les, because I know that he'll give me an honest opinion. And he's, like I said, he's really reliable and smart. So I think that that's something that he brings to the table that I rely on very much.
Okay. And Les, what would Melissa?
I would say just the encyclopedic knowledge of this business, and been in it since she's 19 years old, mentored under her dad, just beyond level of knowledge about policy forms and how the industry works and coverages and that stuff. Just put her up against anybody in that environment, anybody, anywhere, any size firm, and she's gonna hold her own, if not beat them down. And then you don't find that anywhere, any place. Somebody with the level of knowledge of the basis of the industry that she has.
She's smart. I knew that from the very beginning. I mean, I've known her nearly 20 years. So I know she's smart. She's a smart cookie. Yeah, don't mess with her.
Thanks.
Don't mess with her. She's smart. She knows what she's talking about. She does. So then my next question is, when you're off of work, is there a separation, or is it fully integrated when your life away from the job, away from the office? I mean, is it kind of like it's just part of your lives, or do you actually separate at some point, compartmentalize?
We're pretty integrated, although Melissa has her girl gang, as I call it, which is actually a network of about a total of half a dozen other female professionals. But I've polluted her in a couple of ways. I've got her fly fishing and out in a float tube in a lake. And then one of my passions is Air Force football. So I've got her involved in that. We go back and she's met some of my crazy friends and participated in some of the traditions that we have in that arena. She's tried to get me to play golf because she loves golf. That's been not as successful as it should have. That's her one separate. She loves her golf.
I know she does.
And so she does get her time away and play golf.
And I might add that from the day-to-day perspective, we're really good at stepping away from business.
Okay.
And, being husband and wife in the home. So sometimes those roles get a little confused, and we try, I think we make a really good effort at making sure that when we're home, we're husband and wife, and when we're here, we're business partners, and it is definitely a different relationship. We don't really talk a lot about business at home unless there's something really happening. A client has had a claim, or there's a big renewal, something like that. It would have to be something pretty major. But day to day, we're just a normal married couple at home.
Yes. How do you guys handle conflict? So that was like,
oh, sorry.
Let's see. I don't handle it very well. I'm very vocal and expressive, and Les is more of an introvert and a thinker. So.
And a long time ago, I had a lot of training in unarmed combat skills, so I use those to protect myself.
Right. Very true. So when we do have the occasional disagreement, and it does happen, we allow it, right? Because you have to express yourself, and we allow it. And then, we work through it in our own way. And fortunately, we don't have often disagreements.
Right.
So we're pretty much on the same page in a lot of respects.
But people know that nothing's perfect, obviously, and so you have to ask that question, kind of like, how do you handle? Because I feel that you guys probably know each other so well, you know how to handle her on some level. She's not. I mean, you must at this point have figured it out.
Yeah. Again, very carefully.
I know. I love it. I like you guys both so much. I love Melissa. I've known her for 100 years. And I saw you guys seem so happy, and so I'm so glad this is working out for you. That the business is doing well, and Lacer's doing well, and you have the kids and grandkids, and I think it's wonderful, and that's why I wanted to celebrate love in the insurance business. I wanted to celebrate that, and thanks for being my first couple.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
But my last question I will ask you guys, I'm gonna ask all the couples this, is what any advice you'd give to couples in the business, if any?
Advice to other couples in the business.
If you have
I think my advice from a female perspective is always remember to be kind. The pressures of the job get to all of us, and sometimes it's your husband, your best friend, and you could be a little quick-tongued. I know that I can be. So I try to be, I try to remember to be kind.
Yeah.
And I think that goes a long way.
I like that.
And I was going to use a similar word, but the word that came to my mind was respect. Respect the other person's space, and respect their ability to disagree, and even respect their needed times to. I just need some time for myself, be it golf or be it fishing or whatever it is, or to get lost in a football game on TV and scream at the TV. Just at a time when there's got to be the respect to just back away a little bit and give the other person some space.
Yeah.
Like that. Respect and kindness. I like that. Thank you guys for being on the show, Melissa and Les, and happy Valentine's month to you guys. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Happy Valentine's.
Happy Valentine's to you.
Thank you. And I am James Lott Jr. This is IIABCal Voices. This is our special February editions of the shows. You can follow all of our shows and listeners on one of them, actually, anywhere where you find streaming. It could be iHeartRadio, Spotify, Deezer, Apple, Google, all kinds of places. Go there. While you're there, subscribe. And listen to some of the great people I talked to in the Big I. It was some wonderful people. And then, of course, the video. If you want to see our handsome and pretty faces, I know you want to see theirs. Go ahead and go to my YouTube channel, my online network, JLJ Media. We're 35 shows on the air, ranging from soap operas to insurance. And we talk, and Star Wars. We talk about everything on there. And go ahead and subscribe and comment and like, share it to anybody you think needs to hear this. Everyone, please go and love this month. We'll see you next time.